Okay, so with that, we're going to dive into our first panel session. So to piggyback off Brad's presentation and really what this is focused on, and this being the North American Day, we thought it would be really important for the audience here to really do a deep dive into what real estate is outside of North America. Who are the participants? How is data managed now? And so with that, we have our moderator, Ali Memar, and the panelists will come up and do a deep dive.
Good morning, everyone. That's Zola here. A lot of light here. Marika, please, Zola, Ileana, would you please join me over here? Good morning. Okay, first panel, a very important conference, speaking after Brad and Sam, no pressure at all, easy. Yeah, totally. I have Zola, Ileana, Marika here. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves right after I introduce myself here. So I'm the important one here. I'm a broker. My name is Ali Memar. I've been in real estate basically my entire life. I'm a fourth-generation developer. My great-grandfather was a developer. And I started my real estate business in the United States about 40 years ago. I've been a realtor about a little over 20 years, and I've been doing international real estate and the 20 years that I've been in real estate business, and I'm actually an instructor. I teach locally in New Jersey, in 50 states, and globally. And I own my own offices in New York and New Jersey, even though in the same country, the business is done differently. Even in the state of New Jersey, in North Jersey, we have an attorney review clause, a mandatory 3 days attorney review. And every contract signed by buyer and seller goes to attorneys. Attorneys review the contract before it becomes a binding contract. In South Jersey, we don't have that. In New York, we don't have that. What I'm trying to tell you, even in the United States, in every state, business is done differently. For example, in New Jersey, in order to get a license, you need to take a 75 hours course. In Texas, it's 900 hours. In Florida, it's 63 and a half hours. I don't know what that half is for, but it is 63 and a half. So, but he's from Orlando, so. Anyway, business is done differently, real estate done differently all around the world, even in the United States. But in the United States, in 50 states, we have one thing in common. We all use MLS. So when we go do a listing presentation to a seller never asks anything about MLS because they all pass that. They know we have the listing on MLS. I personally, the area that I work, I'm a member of 4 different MLSs because we're a very small area. And we're connected to New York, to South Jersey, to west of New Jersey and all that. But we don't have that in the rest of the world, basically. Very few countries. The reason I have these 3 people, Zola was just awarded. You want to tell us what it was? Go for it. He's instructor of the year. It was awarded in Anaheim a couple of weeks ago. So, yeah. Ileana worked in one of the few countries who do have MLSs, just like we do have in the United States. And Marika here, she works both in the United States and in Georgia. So that's the reason I have the panel. So I'm going to have them introduce themselves, then start from. Okay,
no,
the champion.
No. You go first.
Okay. Can everybody hear me? Just position it right. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me here, to the organizers of this wonderful event and to everybody who is attending. My name is Marika Abuashvili. The training on my last name will be later after this session. And I am realtor, first of all. I'm a real estate agent and managing broker for many years with Coldwell Banker Bain, for those of you who is familiar with this company. Right now I'm in the referral network. I'm also on the board of directors with Georgia National Association of Real Estate, which is Georgia the country, not Georgia the state. And I'm also chair of the Real Estate Commission at ICC Georgia, which is International Chamber of Commerce, where we're trying to move things forward. The reason I'm telling you about all my titles, because it will make sense in the end when I'll talk. That's enough, I think, for now.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ileana Preda. I'm originally from Romania. I had the wonderful opportunity to start my real estate career 20 years ago in Florida. I was licensed there for 6 years. Then I moved to my beautiful country, Romania. As soon as I got there, I realized that there is a National Association of Realtors. There were some pioneers, like my friend Dan here, Dan Negulescu. So, and then I looked up on Google, and there was an MLS in Romania. I thought Romania is like the US. I mean, heaven. Everything I knew is real. So it's far from that, but that story is for the coffee breaks, of course. I'm very excited to be here to share our young experience in MLS and data exchange, standards, rules, and regulations. And I think it's a great opportunity for countries like ours in Eastern Europe, Central Europe, and even Western Europe, because many developed countries need this exposure and this common language that it's MLS and the RISO standards. I lost my train of thought, but we'll get back to that. Thank you. Yes, perfect. Zola is saving me.
Zola is saving you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here and taking the time out of your busy day to be listening and learning what we are going to talk about in the next few days. Ali, thank you so much for moderating this.
You're welcome.
And Ali, thank you for sponsoring Realtina for this whole 2 days. My name is Zola. My last name is Saranches. So I'm usually always the last one on the list because of my name. So that's why I wanted to make sure I'm doing the same thing. And I have two beautiful ladies here with me as well. I've been in the business for going into 21 years in sales agent, broker, manager capacity, and obviously some other leadership positions at the National Association of Realtors, at the local and the national level as well. And I am extremely grateful to be on this panel and to share with some of the information with you in the next few days.
Thank you. Thank you, Zola, Ileana, and Marika. I don't know if you realize, both Zola, actually all three of them, emphasize on the word realtor. I just want to clear something. Realtor is a brand. So a real estate agent is not necessarily a realtor. And we have almost 1.4 million realtors in the United States. And am I right, Alex? 1.5. So, and Romania is one of the country that I think is the only country that all the real estate agents are realtors. So, and that's just to clear that up. Now, going back to our question, I want to ask all three of you. We're going to start with Marika because you introduce yourself first. How is the business you work in, both in the United States and outside the United States? Tell us your experiences. How the actual transactions done in ground between seller and buyer? How is it? Is it dual agency? Is one agent, two agents? How do they work with each other and things in that?
Well, yes. So I was in United States. I was managing broker at the real estate company, and that lasted for 25 plus years. So everything I know about real estate comes from American experience. And of course, just like Ileana, when I arrived to Georgia, I thought, well, that's the way it's supposed to be everywhere else. Well, it was very far from that. My first question was, okay, so what's your MLS here? And there was no MLS. So I immediately took a ticket and flew back to Seattle. No, I didn't. I'm still there. but that was my intention. So I would never say it on stage or anywhere else in public, but as far as transactions, I will quote Brad Inman on that. It's pain in the butt. Okay, if I may. So first of all, there's no MLS. And your question kind of contained several answers as well. So there are pocket listings. There is no exclusive representation. It's very rare. There's no escrow. There's no title. Really, I'm not trying to beat up on Georgian reality of real estate transaction, but I may be even trying to applaud them for still having enthusiasm of doing those transactions without having all those wonderful tools that we do have in the United States. So the way transaction, I'm not going to bore you with details of the transactions, but it's super spontaneous. And where Brad was talking about how long the transaction takes when there is no MLS, I think in Georgia it's on opposite. It's very quick. When I told them that for average closing in United States, we need about 30 to 45 days in a normal, healthy market, they were almost shocked, and I'm talking they realtors and real estate agents in Georgia, because it takes maybe 1, 2, or maybe 3 days. And of course it does, because you don't have to do any listing presentation to start with, you don't have to do marketing approach, you don't have to do any of those things that we do, and then you just go to the authority where you register your sale, you hold each other's hands, because seller might run away before buyer or the other way around. So just to make sure they hold hands, sometimes literally actually, and I was present in one of those transactions because there's no escrow, right? So right. Who's going? I'm going to register a house on your name first, or are you going to transfer me money? I'll transfer money first, and you know what I'm talking about. So it's quite humorous when you're not part of the transaction. And there's no inspection, for instance. So you're buying the house, you're buying cat in a bag, and then you discover all those things later. Why bother now, right? So there's a lot of a lot of things, but I think we will be talking about solutions, I think, in a different panel. But I think that most importantly, I think the population of real estate professionals, at least the part that is thriving for education, thriving for improvement, trying to make this not just money-making activity, but those that they're trying to make it in their profession, their business, like serious business, those are the people that actively attend training, and we had both of those respectful trainers in Georgia, and I'm very happy about that. And they attend trainings, and most importantly, I see, you know, the situation is ready for system such an MLS to come into the country. But I think in order for that to be successful, and again, we'll talk about that a little bit later, we have to prepare those people, train them on how those transactions are done, how to obtain exclusive listings, et cetera, so that the climate is there, and when MLS arrives, in whichever form it will be possible, then those people will be ready professionally to utilize it for their business and successful careers, and most importantly, for a wonderful level of providing services to their clients.
Thank you. So 2 or 3 days closing, that means there is no mortgage involved. A majority of the transactions.
Say it again?
There is no mortgage involved.
Well, mortgage is involved, but that also is very fast. They either give it to you or not. Oh, well, sometimes they just don't. Yeah, very simple.
Very simple.
Yeah, very simple. And but most of the transactions, surprisingly, are cash.
Yeah, okay.
You know.
Because in the U.S., it takes 45 to 60 days, basically because of the loan process. So it would take about 45 days in general.
Inspection negotiations too can take a long time. Yes. I mean, all of those things can take a long time, but here just they're so eager. Okay, I like your house. Okay, the price is good. Let's go. Pretty much the same way. But I think that the mortgage thing that you mentioned is very important because mortgage rates are super high in Georgia. So sometimes people just try to put all the savings together and collect cash in order.
What is the super high? Just can you give us?
I don't know. I think it depends on everybody's there's no credit history, but something similar to that. It could be 12, it could be 14, 18, depends.
Yeah, well, in 1987, when I purchased my first house in New Jersey, it was 14%. And today people complain why it's 6% because we used to 2.5% a few years ago. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Ileana, same question.
Yep.
You remember?
Yes, I remember the question. Thank you. No, you don't remember. So the question is how real estate. Okay, sorry, I was filling you in. Yeah.
Your
so
question is different, by the way.
very similar to Georgia. When I arrived to Romania, I was shocked of some ways of how real estate was being transacted. However, there is law in place. There is a very safe process of purchasing and selling real estate in Romania. The only thing that we are missing from the legal standpoint is the law coordinating the real estate profession. Right now, there are some actions that we are working towards a licensing law. And that, I believe, from that comes all the headaches and the pain in the butts that Brad was mentioning, because of the lack of universal
Laws
rules.
and regulations.
Exactly. So anyway, moving forward to your second part of the questions, how real estate is done, most market works with pocket listings, mostly no contracts, and a few of them exclusive, more and more in the past years. So when I arrived to Romania and I discovered that there is an MLS, I went to one of the MLS classes, and then I learned that it can be done in Romania, a small country somewhere on the map, that it can be done the same way that it's done in the US. And it was few of us. You could have counted on your fingers how many of us were familiar with the terms and believed in the concept. And now, 10, 14 years later, since we are working together as an association, as friends, as business partners, we see a country where there is a little bit of hope, more hope every year, because we do have trainings, exclusive listings trainings from the US, from NAR. We are a small and mighty association that all of us are realtors, and we follow the code of ethics of NAR. So because we have a proven model, we weren't ashamed or shy to follow a model. In Europe, we are very proud of our heritage and the fact that we were here before America was born. Yes.
Yeah, just by the way, as an inside joke, today is Romania National Day, and it's my birthday as well. So we were talking about who came first. It was me or Romania, but I think it was Romania. So.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, so anyway, we weren't shy of following a model, although it's an overseas model, and it's proven that it works, and it's the light of at the end of the tunnel that we do have a self-regulated association. We do have very high-quality trainings to learn how to work with MLS exclusive listings and so on. We have a working, functioning MLS in the beginning stages, even after 10, 15 years. However, more and more members are coming on board, and also we are in the developing stages. And we also are very proud to have the support of our American friends from National Association of Realtors Global and all our wonderful trainers that inspired us over the years. So anyway, the light of at the end of the tunnel is there for Romania.
Thank you. So we can invite Brad to come in Romania, buy a house without a problem.
Without a problem. He has realtors, he has MLS, and it's an easy and safe transaction.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Zola, your question is a little different. You're an instructor. You teach all around the world, and you work in the U.S., so you have experience, wider experience than almost everybody else here. You want to tell us your experience in the U.S. and abroad, how the business is done.
Well, thank you so much for that question. And I think, obviously, you cannot really cover the whole world how business is being done. However, I do believe there is a commonality. And the commonality is people who are strive to be professionals, agents who strive to be professional. They are seeking learning experiences, how they can enhance their transactions, their relationships with their consumers and customers, because they understand at the end of the day, if there are no consumers, there are no agents. If there are no agents, there are no brokerages. If there are no brokerages, there are no MLS. So everyone is looking for that shiny object, of course, once they get into the business. But at the end, once they have their first three transactions, that's when they realize, I don't know anything about this business. And that's when they are seeking information, how I can better myself, how I can be the source for my consumers, which is ultimately our customers and clients. And I believe that is the difference. Yes, there are people, we have 1.5 million people in the United States. However, does 1.5 million people strive to do that? Of course not, right? Same thing in every part of the world, Mongolia, Romania, France, anywhere in the world, there are pockets of people who is hungry for the knowledge, the data, the systems and tools, how I can enhance myself so I can ultimately serve my clients better, and by doing so, I'm also making a better living in this business.
Thank you. While you're at it, I'm going to ask my second question, starting with you. How do the brokers and agents share data, and how do consumers interact with them?
Right. So, well, obviously, in the United States, it's very centralized, right? We also have one of our major sponsors in the room, Stellar MLS, which is happened to be my MLS in the state of Florida in this room. So I just wanted to make sure I give a shout out to them. And actually, they are one of the largest MLSs. And since we all know that they are real MLS, so when consumers using the public-facing side of the MLS, right, which means agents can set up all kinds of searches, they can customize their searches, and therefore the agents can be alerted by consumers reacting and responding to those feeds. Now, other parts of the world, the data, as you mentioned, it's pretty much pocket listings, right? It's open listings. We have seen in many countries when there is one property, one address, in 10 different locations, 10 different websites, with 10 different prices. So if you turn the table just a little bit, is that really the consumer's best interest? So I believe the need for a centralized rules and regulations for the data, it's extremely important, not only in the US, but actually all over the world. And I am super excited to be here in the next few days to learn how we can actually make this data more centralized, more consumer-centric, which is ultimately feeding your own business as well.
Yeah, it just reminded me a friend of mine from Dubai. He's a FIOPSI president in Dubai. He had a LinkedIn posting a couple of months ago, and he was very proud to announce that in Dubai they just passed a regulation that only 3 people can advertise on the same listing. And it was unlimited number. You could have seen that one listing with 20 different agents, 20 different prices, 20 different pictures from the same property. And after years of fighting, they passed a regulation, only 3 people can do it. I immediately, on his post, said, Mahmoud, why not 1? And I'm still waiting for the answer, because he knows what's going to happen if he answers my question, and I'm going to tell him what to do. Anyway, Ileana.
Data is shared in Romania. It's like a general chaos, like Zola was mentioning. Not organized, very unorganized chaos, if that's the description. So anyway, yes, lots of open listings, not even listings, because real estate professionals sometimes are used to working without even a paper napkin signed. So in this chaos, what we did as the realtors that believe in this other way of doing business, we started working with exclusive listings and exclusive representation, because most country works with both sides, not representing either one. We chose to represent the interest of only one side in the transaction. And with that, and working with the MLS, of course, and with that, what I see happening in our market is that the more customers, clients, and agents understand that that information, exclusive information, one agent per listing, and one agent per site actually, gives us more transparency, it gives us more opportunity to do business. And another weird thing in some of the European countries, and I interacted with some outside of Romania as well, is not only that there are 10 agents doing that, but 9 of them are working for free. And then when the transaction happens, in Romania at least, most of the transactions happen because of all that exposure, but at the end of the day, the buyer and the seller might even transact on their own. Yeah. And that's such a pity, because if we work together, we have more chances of transacting together, and the consumer wins and the client wins.
Absolutely.
So anyway, going back to how the data is shared, our market relies mostly on public portals, which are many and poorly represented. However, because the real estate profession is not gathered and it's not solidified in large organizations like ours, then the data is basically we rely on your Zillows and other portals like that. None of them are dominating the market, and the one that is going towards dominating the market is approaching some tactics that are affecting us as realtors and affecting the consumers as well. So yes, centralized data is very important. And the way we share it in the MLS is the way the US is sharing it. And besides the MLS and the data exchange is also the way we choose as professionals to work with our clients. Whether you are a believer of exclusive representation or not, then the MLS makes sense when you have something. Because when you have 100 properties in your properties and none of them are signed exclusively, you basically have nothing. You only have liability.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ileana.
My pleasure.
Marika?
Yes.
Can I follow up on that just for 1 second?
Sure.
I'm not supposed
1 second.
to. Yeah.
Okay.
I think what is really also important to acknowledge here is the people, because it starts with a handful of people who starts to believe in this system. And by the way, she's extremely modest as well, but she was one of the person who started this in Romania, including with this gentleman in front of me, with Dan Negulescu, which means they believed in something. A fast forward, decades later, people are doing business the way it's supposed to be, but ultimately they're also making more money. And I think that is so important to highlight here, because we are all here for business, but at the same time, by doing the right thing, they also making more money, which is the most important thing.
Thank
right?
you. Marika?
If I may, I will add one more ingredient to what you're saying, because it's very important. In the end, our profession is client services. So without proper tools, we cannot provide proper client services. And so it's about agent education, it's about culture and everything else. But several trainings that I conducted in Georgia, I always told them, do you know what your business is about? It's about serving clients. If you do not acknowledge that, if you're just here for the money, for quick buck, so to speak, right? It's not going to work. But so that's what I was telling you about, that there's a group of, and that the group is growing, which is very encouraging, group of professionals that is actually thriving to learn and do the right things. Going back to data exchange, there's a WhatsApp application. God save me from finding my property there, because I will have to scroll for days to find the 2-bedroom apartment that was there last month, right? For those of you who know WhatsApp application or any other social media, you just have to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. So this is not, that's not working. It's not working for agents, and again, it's not working for their clients, because they cannot provide quick, reliable services. They cannot provide quick information that's relevant to their consumers, right? And so they're warming up to MLS. We talked about this a lot. Since the day I arrived to Georgia, which was 7 years ago, I've been talking about MLS. We still don't have it, but I think, you know, the situation is there when it might happen very soon. But here's the important thing. As far as portals, we have exactly the same thing that Ileana mentioned, different portals. Difference with Zillow, by the way, is that Zillow still has relevant information that is confirmed. There is no fake listings. In Georgia, I can find in my neighborhood, Florida mentions sandy beaches, and there's no, where I'm in my area, there's no sandy beaches, I can guarantee you. But apparently they are, according to some portals. And so what happens is just the old, God knows how old of a gimmick, where a person goes on whatever portal, they see beautiful picture, it looks like the price is amazing, and they want to buy that property, especially people that are not familiar with that particular neighborhood. So that's how they try, I understand, that's how they try to get clients, but it's not working. So I think MLS by itself, and MLS with rules and regulations, which we have RISO for, because otherwise it also will be another technological platform that will be abandoned by agents, and nobody will use it since they don't know the rules, right? So that's very important, and I think we're going there. At least we're making it happen with your help, with the education you provide, and with our American partners and with our European partners. I think we're going that direction. So I'm glad to be here to learn more how we can do that.
Thank you. You heard it firsthand, having MLS versus not having MLS. One thing about MLS is data. Most important thing is data. Where do the Zillow gets their data? From MLSs. Where the government gets in the United States their data? From MLSs. MLS gathers everything together and presents it to consumer, non-consumer, realtor, non-realtors. We have, I don't know how many MLSs in the United States. Every single one of them, 5,000. 500. Every single one of them. You put a property address, you get the same data. Not an inch different. That's very important. You heard it. 10 people get the same listings. Probably one of them sells, probably none of them sell the same listing, and they don't get anything. They work for nothing. It's not even a listing. But if you have an MLS system, if you have an MLS where you work, instead of competing with each other, you cooperate with each other. One person gets the listings, put an MLS, 1.5 million agents will sell it. It's a cooperation. It's not about competition, it's about the cooperation. So I want to thank Realtina, Riso, and Seppi to invite us over here, and how was Shine over here. Probably we did, probably we didn't, so it's up to you. Thank you all.